22. 22 veterans a day commit suicide, and that has to stop. So today I'm going on a very special trip to help raise funds and awareness for a nonprofit called Mind Overland, which helps support veterans by getting them out into this hobby that we like to call overlanding. And I'm joined on this trip by Jesse and Daisy of Spartan Overland and their kids, and Dee and Carver of Carving Up the Trails. And together, we're hoping that we can support these veterans by raising funds. So before I get any further, there's a link in the description below where you can donate to help support these veterans. Even $5 makes a huge difference, but we've already gotten a bunch of corporate sponsors and other donors that we're going to be highlighting throughout this video, so just be prepared for that. Everyone that we talk about in this video helps support veterans today. Originally, we were going to be raising these funds for Mind Overland and presenting it to them at their big Veterans Day event. Unfortunately, because of Hurricane Helene, that event has also had to be postponed, so there's even more time to give, which means we can raise more money. Now, I was already supposed to be on this trip, and I'm actually about a day late because I also got hit by Hurricane Helene, and we lost power for about 40 hours, which meant I was not going to leave my family alone with no power, especially if I was bringing all of our off-grid stuff with me. So I'm meeting up with the crew just before we hit camp Saturday evening. So if you like supporting veterans and you want to learn a little bit of World War II history, join us as I join the Eastern Carolina Veterans Route.
All these little things driving me crazy. I just wanna be free. All these feelings got me singing hazy. I can barely breathe. I'm the southern type, no you can't tame me. Baby, I'll just sleep. There's no point in trying to chase me. Only one thing I need. Oh no, say it ain't so. I do what I want and I don't like no. Oh no, say it ain't so.
About to find out if this is a hit or miss camp.
All right, so we made it to camp, and camp's a little interesting. So this is a hit camp that Dee found, and in the pictures when he was looking at it, it did not look quite like this. Jesse likes to call these hit or miss camps, and this one's probably more on the miss side than anything else, but it's nice. It's an open area, right? We got plenty of room, all that kind of stuff. There's like random stuff around here. Like there's like a kid table that we kind of put further back in the woods, all kinds of stuff, and like a trailer back there, and there's just a lot of stuff here. And then like we've got a road. Anyway, it will do for tonight. I'm just glad to be hanging out with everybody and to have gotten back in the caravan and getting to do this, so that's a plus. I'm gonna get the camp set up, and I guess we're just gonna hang out, start making some dinner. Well, in my haste to get packed up from home after the whole hurricane disaster and trying to throw everything in the Jeep and get here, I realized that I normally keep my ladder for the rooftop tent in the rooftop tent, but right now I've got bedding in it and there's not enough room for both the bedding and the ladder. So the ladder actually takes up less space in the Jeep than all the bedding would. And I left the ladder at home, not thinking about it. So it's gonna be interesting getting in and out of this thing. Cause, you know, I'm gonna have to do some climbing, and I have something torn in my shoulder, so trying to do that's gonna be real interesting. So note to self, pack your rooftop tent ladder.
Hi, I'm Dee from Carving Up the Trails. I'm the older part. My son is the other part, and where the namesake came from. His name is Carver.
And I'm Jesse. I'm 50% of Spartan Overland.
I am from a very deep tradition of military. Unfortunately, I wasn't able to serve due to medical reasons, but one thing I wanted to start instilling in my kids is what does it mean to be a veteran and why it's important for us to support the veterans. And you know, Carver's 9, about to be 10 years old, and me and him got to talking about it, and we both just kind of decided, hey, let's try and do a charity ride. And you know, Mind Overland is a fantastic organization.
Mind Overland connects to me very specifically, honestly. What are we doing out here, right? We are overlanding, we're camping. Why do you do it? I do it to get away. It's like my reset. There's a lot of things that veterans need to reset with, but it's hard to let those walls down and make a connection with someone who hasn't done it. Like, for example, there's stories that I'll talk about with guys I deployed with that I'm not going to talk to you about because I don't think you'd understand. So what Mind Overland does is they do these trips, they do big overland trips only for veterans. Mind Overland took a group of veterans, they paid for their gas, they supplied the food, any interesting stops along the way, they paid for that. They even, I think, paid for their gas to get to the start of the trail. All the veterans needed was either a passenger seat or their own rig. And it's all covered. And so then these guys are on a trip. All the guys who run, all the men and women who run Mind Overland are veterans as well. So now you're on an overland trip. You're having a great time seeing things and seeing sights and doing adventures. Then you get to camp and it's only other vets at the fire ring with you. So it is therapy through outdoor adventure.
You know, one of their goals is to try and eliminate the 22 a day, where 22 veterans either commit suicide or attempt suicide every single day. And that's very important to us.
I've lost several guys from my platoon and our deployments after the fact. Yeah, it's something that's real important to me, and that's kind of what draws me to them and what drew me to joining this event.
So we decided to go to Battleship North Carolina. It was a World War II battleship. Then we stopped at Fort Fisher. It was a fort from the on the Confederate side of the Civil War. And then tomorrow we're going to Patriots Point, which is the USS Yorktown. It was all kind of centered and geared around the veteran aspect of it.
If you guys feel as strongly about this as I do, which I hope you do, if you look in the description below, there's a link. You can donate anything, $1, $5, $10, it doesn't matter. Every little bit helps. Helps Mind Overland take these veterans out on these rides. It helps them continue doing what they do and helping more and more people.
I'd like to take a moment to thank Redeemed LED for being a sponsor of this trip. Kyle is the owner of Redeemed LED and was actually the first to donate to this fundraiser and did so without ever even being asked. Redeemed LED is the kind of company we love to support because they do so much to support others. They aren't just a nameless company. You can meet Kyle at just about any Jeep or off-road event in the Southeast, and they truly believe in their amazing products. From LED headlights like I or Daisy run in our Jeeps, or WRGB whips, or to my personal favorite, their 44-watt rock lights with a lifetime warranty that I use to light up camp. If you're in the market for WRGB lights, you need to check out Redeemed LED. All right, guys, we had a very interesting night. Couldn't wait for the motorcycle to go by. That is what happened all night, essentially, is lots of loud traffic going on the road right there. About 1 o'clock in the morning, there were a bunch of gunshots coming from somewhere off over here, which, to be fair, every time I've camped along the coast here, we've gotten random gunshots in the middle of the night, so who knows what that's all about. And then at 4 o'clock in the morning, there was a rooster that decided now was the time that everybody needed to be up, and he didn't stop until about 7:30 in the morning, so none of us got a great night's sleep here. So we're packing up a little bit early. we've decided in true Overlander style, we're gonna have somebody else make breakfast for us, and we're just gonna get on the camp and get out of the road. But this is a great time for me to give a shout out to one of the trip sponsors of this video, Outland Motorworks. Outland Motorworks stepped up. They donated to Mind Overland as part of this fundraiser, and we want to give them a huge shout out. Outland makes the tent that I have and my big 270 awning. My 270 awning is maybe my favorite thing of Overland gear that I have. It is absolutely awesome. Tents are great. The other thing that makes them really cool is that they have a program where you can actually like rent before you buy. So if you're going on a trip and you don't have a rooftop tent, or you need a different style, or you want to try before you buy, you can actually rent a rooftop tent from them. Daniel, who's the owner, that's who you're going to get if you call them up. So they're a small business. They're at like almost every Overland and Jeep event in the Southeast. They're out of Tennessee. So if you've got a need for a rooftop tent or an awesome 270 awning, or you just need to rent a tent, they're great people to call. So again, Outland Motorworks, thank you so much for donating to Mind Overland and supporting this trip and helping us with this fundraiser. We appreciate you so much. Let's move on to the next thing. So what's for breakfast?
We've got a lot of options, actually. We've got all within a few minutes of the route, pretty close by. We've got New York Diner, Eggs Up Grill, Cracker Barrel, Waffle House.
All right, so we had a nice breakfast at the local pancake house here, and we're on the road heading down more of the South Carolina coast. We're going to end up going through some of the Francis Marion National Forest. We're actually going to pick up a section of the Scar as we do that, and then we're going to continue to head down south towards Charleston and Patriots Point, where we will then check out the USS Yorktown, and that's where we'll end up concluding this trip.
We are now crossing over the infamous Whack-A-Mole River, going out to Whack-A-Mole Bay.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Francis Marion National Forest. This road is called Swamp Fox 1, named after the Swamp Fox himself, Francis Marion. Now is a great time for me to tell you about Onyx Offroad. Onyx is an offline mapping app that allows you to create and follow trails even if you don't have a cellular signal by using saved maps on your device and GPS tracking. We're all using Onyx on this trip to map and navigate our route, but what's really cool about Onyx is it has a lot of trails built right into the app, including the route that we're currently on, the South Carolina Adventure Route, also known as the Scar. If you're interested in trying Onyx, you can use the link in the description to save 20% on your membership, and it really helps support the channel.
Who's Rocky Creek Off-Road? Why am I talking about them? Why are they on my truck? Easy questions to answer. Rocky Creek Off-Road is a veteran-owned and operated North Carolina-based off-road shop. They can do anything from builds to fabrication to basic installs, alignments. you name it. They're also the only shop I trust to work on the trucks. Did I mention they're veteran owned and operated? They are. If you're in the area, or even if you're not, and you want some work done, give these guys a call.
All right, we have made it to the last stop on our Eastern Carolina Veterans route, the USS Yorktown at Patriots Point in Charleston, South Carolina. So we're gonna go explore this a little bit, hang out. Let's go see what this is all about.
I said that little baby one, I could probably drive it. Look at it. I don't have my aviators, guys. I feel like I need.
So it's really fun to be here. Like, I grew up near here, like all of 2 hours from here. So I've been to the Yorktown before, but not since I was like maybe in high school. So it's been a long time since I've been here, particularly as an adult that kind of really appreciate it more, who knows more World War II history and things like that. This is it's a different experience coming here when you kind of are a little bit older with more appreciation and more knowledge going into it. And it looks like we weren't the only ones to come visit the Yorktown today. The USS Yorktown was commissioned September 30th, 1937 and was named after the Battle of the Yorktown, a key victory in the American Revolution. The Yorktown operated in the Pacific until April of 1941, when German U-boats preying upon British shipping in the Atlantic required more American naval strength to combat. She remained in the Atlantic until the attack of Pearl Harbor in December of 1941, which brought her back to the Pacific. The power of the Yorktown, armed with Devastator torpedo planes, Dauntless bombers, and Wildcat fighters, helped win multiple offensives. During the Battle of the Coral Sea, her sister ship, the USS Lexington, was sunk, and the Yorktown was badly damaged by a bomb that penetrated the flight deck and exploded below deck, killing or seriously injuring 66 of her crew. The damage the Yorktown suffered during the battle was estimated to take about 3 months to repair, but the crew was given 3 days to fix what they could so they could get back into the fight. And they did. She returned to the fight on June 4th during the Battle of Midway, sinking a Japanese carrier. During the battle, however, the Yorktown was eventually hit by 3 Japanese bombers. Wounded, the Yorktown fought on until 2 torpedoes ripped through the side. The abandoned ship order was given. While the Yorktown was out of the fight, her planes were still in the air and were able to sink the last enemy flat top. On June 7th, the Yorktown sank and earned her the title Martyr of Midway. But this wasn't the end. On April 15, 1943, a new Essex-class carrier would receive the name Yorktown. This new Yorktown was bigger, stronger, and carried a new fleet of aircraft, including new Hellcat fighters. She would play a key role in the Pacific Offensive that began in late 1943 and ended with the defeat of Japan in 1945, and would go on to become known as World War II's famous fighting lady, receiving 11 battle stars for service in World War II. In the 1950s, the Yorktown was modernized to operate jet craft as an attack carrier and would earn an additional 5 battle stars for service off Vietnam. The Yorktown also recovered the Apollo 8 astronauts and capsule in December of 1968. The USS Yorktown was decommissioned in 1970, and in 1975 the historic ship was towed from New Jersey to Charleston, South Carolina to become the centerpiece of the Patriots Point Naval and Maritime Museum. Thank you so much for watching this video all the way to the end. I really appreciate it. I hope you had fun. I hope you learned a little bit of something. And I hope that you will go down to the description, find the donate link to Mind Overland, and donate something. $1, $5, whatever you can give will help support veterans and help lower that number down from 22 to hopefully one day 0. That's the goal. So anything you can give, we would really appreciate it. I also want to make sure I thank again all of our sponsors: Outland Motorworks, Redeemed LED, Rocky Creek Offroad, Easy Flate, Onyx Offroad. All of you guys were so important and so great for donating money and supplies to the raffles. All of that's going to make a huge impact. Again, thank you so much. God bless, and I will see you on the trails. Jesse and Daisy, it was great seeing you guys. I'm glad you guys got to do this trip. Dee and Carver, it was excellent getting to see you guys. Thank you so much for putting this trip together. We'll see you soon, and we'll do it again next year.
I'm looking forward to it. Jesse, go ahead and start looking and deciding which one of the East Coast trails we want to do.